Hello and welcome to GlitchCube. We're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games. So this week, we are excited. We're going to be talking about June's Game of the Month, which was Skies of Arcadia, a classic. Right? It was on Dreamcast, GameCube, right? And then there's talks of a remaster coming on PS5. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But this is definitely a huge RPG that I personally was not expecting it to be as large as it was. But it surprised the hell out of me. I know that you're coming close to the end of it, but do you want to give just like a quick, what is Skies of Arcadia for people who don't know what it is? Because it's kind of a lot to unpack, honestly.
Yeah, it's a standard turn-based RPG, but instead it's set where you're sky pirates, right? So there's moments where you do ship battles, which are also turn-based, and
we have a lot to talk about with those. Yep.
Yeah, they play very differently. And you basically are kind of set on this journey, right? Because you come across this girl that you save, and she wants to save the world, and you have to collect these like kind of crystals to make sure things go to plan. But of course, you know, there's Empire after them and all kinds of stuff going on. And it's, when you look at the big picture, it's a game about exploration, learning about the world, and kind of like almost learning better about yourselves in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I'm really enjoying this game, to the point where I'm about like 80 hours in. I've done pretty much all the side stuff, and I'm just kind of cleaning up and about to head into the last area. And I'll say this, like, you know, it's that exploration and being almost innocent to the bigger picture of the world. It really reminds me of when I played Grandia years ago, because that was a game that, you know, when I first played it as a kid, I was kind of like, eh. And then as an adult, that sense of wonder that the main character has about seeing this big world they had no experience in was just amazing. I was like, oh man, I want more games like this where, you know, you don't know the world, right? And there's a lot of RPGs you play, it's almost as if your hero knows this world map or is not like surprised by things in the world. And this game does it where, like, whoa, like, we're in this area of the map. That's crazy. Oh, we can finally go here. Like, it's awesome how this game separates things, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, sky pirates, right? You're flying around in your sky ship, and there's different layers of this.
You immediately get a ship. You can immediately just start exploring, which I think is amazing. I gotta jump in real quick for that, because I think that is the coolest aspect of this game. What I immediately fell in love with was the fact that it's never really like 100% clear exactly where to go, right? Like, it's kind of like, oh, there's an island in the northwest, go that way. It's like, okay, cool. So it just kind of promotes you to just explore the skies. And you literally get an airship right off the bat. It's not like your typical RPGs like the Final Fantasies where you just fly on one plane. Like, you can go up and down as well, right? And there is stuff to find throughout all of that. Like, there are certain areas that are locked out because maybe windstorms, rocks, whatever it may be, right? Like little soft locks on different areas. But the fact that this game opens with with this idea of just pure exploration, I think is really, really amazing. And you feel that genuine like wonder through the main character Vice from the very get-go, right? And I like that about this game. I feel like the lightheartedness and the excitement for a new adventure is very refreshing. Instead of just being thrown into this like doom and gloom end of the world scenario, which they still have that genuine excitement for adventure. which is kind of what you go into when you start playing a game for the first time as well, especially a game on this level. You are excited to learn about the world. So having the main characters also be excited to learn about the world and explore it all is just, it's just fun. It's fun and refreshing. I really enjoy that aspect of it. I think they did very well with that.
Yeah. You get the ship right away, but I love how they kind of like section parts of this world off, right? So even though you're in the sky, they treat it like an ocean. And basically, there's your middle ocean or middle sky. There's like the upper, the lower, and there's different like currents that you can't really get to until your ship gets an upgrade, and then you go to the next thing. And you're able to explore quite a bit in each region before, you move on to the next. And like the first place, you're in your little pirate island kind of, and where you're brought up, and you're like, okay, we got to make it to this other island where it's like all the sailors and stuff. And the sense of exploration is just cool because as you're flying to these places, you find fish that you can run over and collect, or you can get into a ship battle randomly, right? Like there'll be either like Empire ships flying or other pirate ships that you can deal with, and they're usually pretty easy. After upgrading your ship a little bit, they're a cakewalk.
Yeah, and once you learn like the gimmick of the ship battles, it becomes easier as well.
Yeah, but I love that like around cities, the islands, like they'll have little merchant ships flying around them, or like little defense ships, just like adding those little touches that these places are alive. And the characters in this game are all really likable. I always feel like when I play RPGs, there's usually one character that'll kind of annoy me. But in this one, like, I like all of them. Right, like Vias is kind of he grows on me. Right, when I was first playing, I was like, I don't know, like he's kind of felt like he kind of lacked a personality, but like halfway through the game, like he kind of comes into his own little shell that I was really enjoying. Fina's cool, and like all these other people that you get later on, and the way they stagger your party is really cool too. Right, it's like you never have to really worry about going over your 4-party limit, because to get, they'll usually swap out the 4th party member with another person, and which I like. Sometimes it kind of bums me out when I have a party that's over like the limit that goes on the screen. So it's nice, like making the story revolve around that. And the difficulty in this game is not bad. The difficulty comes more from the ship battles, I feel like, and then some of the wanted stuff. So in this game, there's some other side stuff you can do. And of course, I'm playing the Legends one, which is the GameCube one, which adds a couple things to it. And so you have these things where you go on the first person mode and you get these moonfish that you give to a creature, and you get items back for those. And then there's chams, which, you feed to Fina's weapon, and it changes the item shape and gets stronger through that.
I find that so refreshing too. The fact that that's one less like money spending thing you have to do in the game for her weapon. It's just you get rewarded for exploring, not for just buying new equipment, which I think is really nice. Is that like the way her weapon works? I guess like her little buddy. I don't know. It's like a weird little amorphous silver blob that you feed it little things and it changes shape, which is pretty cool. Becomes like a sword or like a drill or whatever.
Yeah, and there's actually like a whole flow to it where like if you give it 12 chams and then you give it a special cham, like it'll change its shape. So there's like multiple different forms you can do to get like the optimal one, depending if you find the special chams. And like that's a cool feature. And then you have wanted battles, right? So you're going out looking for these wanted pirates, and they're usually pretty tough. I definitely have died to a couple of them, but they're all doable. Once you kind of learn the system, you level up a little bit, it gets a little bit easier, right? And before I get into the battle system, which I hated at first, but ended up liking later on, the last collectible that you can do, which was one of my favorite things, was there's discoveries, which when you're flying on the world map, your compass will spin around, and if you hit the A button, a discovery will pop up. And basically, you're finding these landmarks and creatures and points of interest around the world map, right? So maybe you'll find like a penguin-like creature somewhere, or you'll find like a crazy landmark that you don't understand why it's there, but they give you all this lore that it was from a past civilization. And I thought that was so amazing. Like, one of my favorite things, I know I've mentioned this before in RPGs, is I love not only like going to new towns and seeing how they built them, but I just love going on a world map and seeing the world and how people came up with this creation and ideas of interesting things to see. And this game kind of does it perfectly because there's a lot of discoveries. I think there's like over 80. I was able to find all of them. So that was a lot of fun kind of finding them. Of course, later on I needed a guide because I didn't realize there's even more sections of the map that you really kind of go to, and I found them all there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. Like sometimes you'll see some random discovery flying past you in the sky. Other times it's like, oh, here's this island all the way, like the highest altitude that you go to. And it's like, oh, look, there's someone actually in there. And the sense of exploration was some of the best I felt in a game, really. I mean, especially like a turn-based RPG, right? Like in an open world game, I get it. Like exploration's crazy. Like with Crimson Desert, that's one thing I love too, because it felt like you were always kind of stumbling on something kind of cool. In this game, it's like that, but in a different way. Because yes, RPGs at that time did have big world maps for you to go on. And you have to remember, like, most of this game is the sky. So it's not like you have this traversable land you can walk on. It's more you're flying to these places. So, of course, it has to be bigger and layered. And I just think they did a really good job with, like, the world building, the way discoveries are done, where they're placed. They just make sense. The story is interesting to them. And, you get rewarded for the discoveries. That's how you make a lot of money really fast. You could get beaten to discovering them. Like, you'll still get money, but you won't get as much. So I thought that feature was kind of interesting, like, depending how much you advance the main story. But, yeah, I don't know. The one thing that really bugged me about this game when I first started it was the elemental system in this game.
Yeah, I'm still feeling like I'm trying to figure that out. I'm like 16 hours in, and I still feel like I don't have a solid grasp on it. But yeah, let's talk about this combat system real quick. Right, like it is basic turn-based, but different.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's a little different in the sense that you have a spirit bar on top. Before I get into elementals, let's get the easy stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
The spirit points is this bar up top. That's usually used for your special moves. Now, magic...
That could be anything, like magic, special moves. Anything. It's just your energy economy, right?
So. Exactly. And it's weird because you do have MP, but that's primarily for outside of combat, right? So spells will have MP that you can use outside of combat, but in combat they take SP.
Well, they still use MP too, though. They use 1 MP.
That's true.
The cost
1
of the
MP.
Energy. Yeah. So like even your biggest hitting spells, every spell takes 1 MP, but then they have a spirit cost. But the only thing that's shown in combat is the spirit cost. not the mana cost. So like that at first I was a little confused by, right? Like it took me a second to get used to that one, but like it also says that there's like elemental weaknesses and things like that, but like I don't really see that right now. I don't know. Like it feels weird.
It's hard. I struggled with it at first because they don't really make it clear unless maybe the monster is like a certain color. Then you can easily pick like the other color. Usually a region will have a certain color type and then you would pick the opposite. Now the problem is understanding that and figuring it out. For me, it was a lot of trial and error. There were definitely bosses where I was doing barely damage and then I switched the color and then, whoa, I'm hitting for double. And it just kind of became a trial and error thing. I think with bosses, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to look it up real quick. Like, what color are they? And then I can just pick it. Because I was like, I don't want to sit here struggling, figuring it out. And that kind of worked out for me. For the most part, I kind of always just stick with the same colors this far into the game because I have some colors maxed out. And what I mean by that is when you have your colors on your weapons, which you can switch, right? I think it's the Y button.
No, yeah, you can switch mid-combat, right? I think that is an interesting mechanic, but I don't remember that being explained. I think I found that on accident.
Yeah, I think they kind of brought it up very quickly, but they didn't go in depth about it. And basically, you switch your attribute and, you know, you'll do more damage, but it'll also help you unlock skills or magic, basically. So say if your whole party is just using red weapons, everyone's red magic will go up. And there's like a certain amount of spells you'll learn. And then once you do that, it maxes out. And then you would do a different color. And, you know, your green is your healing. Your blue is kind of like supportive. Silver is like healing and reviving. And like they all have their uses, and it's kind of cool. I kind of like the idea of like learning these spells with the different colors. Of course, you know, once you get like the healing spells you want, I kind of was like, I don't really care for these other colors basically because they're more like buffs and debuffs. But yeah, the system of having to know the most optimal damage is kind of a pain in this game. And I've kind of just given up on that until I figure out which one works.
Right.
But yeah, I was just really mad at that when I first played this game because it just didn't make any sense. Like you said, they didn't really explain it at all. And the combat is very simple besides that. And I will say, like, for the most part, I would say probably halfway through the game, I don't really use spells at all. Like, the only one I'll do is maybe like the power up one, right? Infrem or whatever. Even then, you have an item that can do that because I'm using all my SP for special moves. And that's another thing that's shared between all characters. So you want to figure out how to do when's the best time to do these moves. And you unlock these moves by giving them moonberries. And it takes a certain amount, you learn the next one, and certain ones are more desirable, right? So, like Aika, I got it where she has this really strong mob move. So, in the beginning, once I did that, she was just clearing out mobs, and I was able to get through areas very quickly. And then later on, you have characters that have shields, where it shields you from magic for, you know, one hit, or it lowers the physical damage you take. And it's a cool system, you know, and then once you get Vice, you know, later on, he gets really powerful stuff. You start looking at like, okay, I need the spirit economy as high as it can to do these really strong hits. And then later on in the game, there's a thing you get where you have to, if you want like a really powerful move, you need to fill your SP bar.
Oh,
and like you can focus on your turns and fill it up very quickly. Like it's not hard if everyone focuses on one turn, you'll fill up the bar more than halfway. But that move is just so strong that it's kind of worth it in some situations. But this game gives you like so many different options of things to do. You know, the equipment system is simple, right? You have a weapon, you have armor, and an accessory, and that's it. And I like that you see your weapons. That's always a plus for me.
Yeah.
And the variance in the character skills it's not bad. You know, like, I feel like Vice is always the most useful. I've kind of turned Fina into a healer, even though, like, I mean, I guess she has a skill that debuffs enemies if they have buffs on, so that's nice.
But that feels like something more for, like, boss battles or more important fights. There's so many enemy encounters in this game. Like, the random encounters are so heavy that, like, those abilities, it's really just how fast can you clear the board just to be able to keep exploring. So, like, I actually feel like some of those, like, the fire moves, hit everybody, I just spam those. So I end up using magic a lot because it hit everyone. Because they're like, maybe 8 or 10 hours in, I got introduced to this character or this enemy type, and now they're, like, everywhere. There's a certain spell that some of these enemies have that is, like, wrecking me, and it's so annoying, and I hate it. But it's called Eternity, where it's an automatic KO. And it feels like it hits every damn time. Like, it doesn't miss, for me at least. Like, I've had it every single time it's been used on me, it hits. And I'm like, God damn it. And it's just immediate death. And I'm just like, okay, well, that sucks. And it just, yeah. And I've actually never gotten a character back up with using the, like, Risen spell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it misses more than it actually works, which is really, really frustrating. So there's a couple things that I'm like a little frustrated by about that game. But giving, like, a normal mob that maybe only has, like, 50, 60 health, right? Like, it's not hard to kill, but they put so many enemies out there where, like, there would be, like, 8 to 10 enemies on the board. Right. And if you don't wipe them all out, there's that chance that one little, like, fly character is just going to hit you with Eternity and just, like, kill you. It's like, okay, well, that actually really sucks. So I'd say that's the only thing as far as basic combat has been really frustrating for me is that stupid spell.
Yeah, that's why, like, for me, like, I found, like, there is kind of an optimal path of, like, who you should get their special moves for first. Like, Ica has this, I think it's Delta Shield or some kind of shield move that'll save you from the Eternity spells. So a lot of times, if it's an easy mob that I know I can kind of kill quickly, she also has a move you can get that's like a burst. And that move, it's more like a whatever is straight ahead, whoever you're hitting, it's not going to hit everybody all over the stage, but it'll hit people around it.
It's like
that's a great first move,
right?
That's a great first move. I would say with Fina, her wind move is very strong, and I think that is probably the best mob attack move you get until you get Ica's other mob move. But yeah, when I learned, I think it was like something wins with Fina, that move was destroying mobs very quickly. And then you throw that shield on if you know those moves, if the guys have, like, the moves that one hit KO, and then you're shielded. So, like, there was ways to kind of clear out boss fight or, mob fights and stuff like that. And but it's still kind of frustrating because, there's times where I was, like, in a wanted fight and I got knocked out and I'm trying to revive one. It doesn't work. That person gets knocked out. And I'm like, okay, I just give up.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not going to try and take on 3 people with 2, especially if I can't just steamroll them. So, yeah, there were times that this game was, it was frustrating to an extent. But the sense of joy of exploring and the story is, it's charming. It's got its little ups and downs. There's nothing super crazy to it, but it's a nice adventure that I'm really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm still continuing even after this episode. Like, I still plan on finishing it just because I'm so close. I might as well.
Right.
And it's been a good time. I feel like I've been playing a lot of RPGs this year, and this one has definitely been, like, it's been the one I wanted to play the most, and I'm glad I'm finally doing it. And I don't know, it's just nice knowing that I've played through this game. This is a game I wanted to play since I was a kid, and I think it deserves all the kind of praise it gets. I think it's a really well done game, and yeah, I don't know. I wish there was more Sky Pirate kind of games, right? Grand Blue Fantasy Relink has that a little bit where you have an airship, but it's not the same. And I guess the thing about
12, yeah, that the whole point was he wants to become a Sky Pirate, but it never really dives into that, unfortunately. Everybody loves a good Sky Pirate, so it's nice to actually be able to play one and play it the way that you would want to play it, right? Where you are really exploring the skies, you are doing these things, and it's I totally get it. The praise that this game gets, I was always kind of surprised and a little hesitant to start it, but now playing through it, I totally understand it. Even though I feel like I'm still not using the mechanics to their fullest, I'm still really enjoying the game. And I think that's one of the big things too to kind of take away from this and the time I played with it is that even though because in typical RPG fashion, if you're not doing the correct matchups, right, like fire for ice and whatever, right, those kind of things, you get kind of punished, right? Where either you're healing people or you're just not doing enough damage. It's just going to take forever. I don't feel like there's that much punishment here. Yes, you are doing less damage, but it's not taking away from the fact that you can still succeed and keep progressing forward. So there's never really been a halting moment. I guess the only big difficulty check that I've ran into so far was I didn't anticipate basically 2 boss battles back to back in the very, very beginning of the game, right? And it was the first boss area that you get to. So you fight this crazy boss at the bottom, poisons you like crazy, and then you go up and you have to immediately fight another boss. And it's oh, oops, I did not see that coming, right? So that was the only area that I've ever ran into some issues so far. I will say the character designs, the character models of just the people, the monsters, the creatures and all that are amazing. And I love what are these things called again? The giant, the ultimate weapons, or what are they? The things that are getting woken up.
The Gigas.
The Gigas, yeah. Those things are so cool. It's kind of fun because you look at these character designs and they're very, I guess I want to say anime, cartoony, right? Simplistic designs, very whimsical, right? And then you see these Gigas things come up and it is Evangelion, right? It is super bizarre, very interesting. I think so far my favorite one that I've run into was the green one, Grendel. I love that design. He looks exactly like an angel from Evangelion. It is such a fascinating design. I love that whole thing, that whole story arc there. And yeah, I'm really loving this game so far. I totally get why people rave about it. And it's after 26 years, I can't believe that we have not seen a remake, a remaster, something, upgrading this thing or bringing it more to the limelight. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it needs it. Right? This game plays great as is.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it would need a remake. I think they should just remaster and put it out because I don't know. This game has a lot. There could be some things that are cleaned up, speed up the airship battles and stuff. But other than that, it feels great. I think people would really like this game a lot, and it's kind of surprising that Sega hasn't at least thought of putting it out, right? Because, they were talking about how they want to get Golden Axe and Jet Set and Crazy Taxi out. And it's I don't know. I mean, yes, RPGs are niche, but this is a game that's kind of been loved for decades. And after experiencing firsthand, I'm you know what? I get it. I love this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's probably one of my favorite RPGs on the GameCube I've played so far. I've played a couple. That was the one platform I kind of skipped out on RPGs and played other stuff. So I still need to get through, Batten Kaitos and some of those other ones, like the
starting
Pokemon
and stopping
RPGs
as well.
Yeah, I don't know. This is my favorite generation of RPGs, right? The GameCube, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast era.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really like this generation a lot because I feel like these games learn from the PlayStation and Saturn generation by making the world maps more interesting, more interactable. The stories maybe are as compelling as previous. Maybe they took a little backseat because, games were bigger. They could handle more. So they threw more systems at you to kind of learn and understand. And that's why I love this era, right? There's just amazing worlds to explore. And this game is one of them. I say if anyone's on the fence, if they should play this, play it. It's worthy of the praise. And don't let my little elemental talk about the weapons scare you off. Like, it's something you learn and get through. And
it's
the story's
it does not stop. It does not stop the enjoyment of the game. I can tell you that right now. I know I'm playing it wrong, and I can tell you it's still fun. So don't worry about that one.
Yeah, if you want a good game to just kind of get lost in the world and explore, like, this is it. It feels like a grand adventure, and there's nothing really annoying about it besides the game feeling slow. That is one thing I will say. If you're playing on an emulator, make sure you got that fast forward button going, because
especially for them ship battles.
So it's like you're just sitting there with these ships going so slow. Like, that's the worst part for me, really. As someone who's already put in this many hours into it, I'm like, my God, at least let us skip. Like, when you play something I didn't learn about till way later, if you do a special move, as soon as they start the special move, you hit start. And I was like, oh my God, this is saving me so much time. And I wish the ship battles did that too. But hey, you know what? Like, this game's just amazing. I don't know. Everyone just go out there and play it. Find a way to play it. Dreamcast, GameCube, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's still the same game, and it's still amazing. And I'm excited for next month's game.
Yeah. Do you want? This is one that's a little close to your chest, right? For you, hitting some nostalgia for you. So you want to introduce July's game of the month?
Yeah. So it is nostalgic because I have played the first game. I have not played the sequel, but I've played the spinoff. So, hey, 2 out of 3.
Not bad.
It's a beautiful thing, but I'm going to revisit it because I freaking love these games. But the Mega Man Legends games. Yeah. So there's 1 and 2, and then Tron Bonne, which, I know so much about that I can't wait to talk about that too. But definitely Legends 2 is the one I'll be jumping into.
I'm super excited about this. We've been talking about playing a Mega Man game, and I feel like Legends really fits our game style, right? Like what we get most excited about. And I've never played the Legends games. It's been something that I've always looked at, but never had the opportunity to play through. So I'm super stoked to check these out and maybe even explore some more of the like weird Mega Man RPGs like Command and stuff like that, right? Like there's some interesting hitters out there. But no, Legends looks fun, so we'll see what happens, and that's going to be for July. It's crazy, man. We're already halfway through the month of games of the month, right? So 6 games down, 6 more to go, and we're setting off for the second half of the year with a banger with some Mega Man Legends. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation into Skies of Arcadia, June's game of the month. Like we mentioned, Mega Man Legends is going to be the next one for July. But do you want to announce at the end here that, yes, we are aware of some of the big gaming news that is happening out there. Sony talking about their discs or lack thereof right? Stuff getting pulled from digital marketplaces, content disappearing, all of that. But we will be discussing that on the next episode. We just really wanted to talk about Skies of Arcadia to make sure that you guys get that little bookend for our game of the month for June. But yeah, we'll talk about all that crazy gaming news things next week for y'all, because there's a lot to talk about. Right, there's a lot to dissect in that one little thing that just came out. But anyway, talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. Until then, bye for now.